Exclusive The Young and the Restless spoilers Wednesday, July 22nd. Nikki devastated. Victor's vow and Phyllis's dangerous obsession. Nikki receives heartbreaking news about her recovery. Victor refuses to give up hope, and Phyllis goes to extreme lengths to keep Matt close. This article contains spoilers for the upcoming episode of The Young and the Restless, airing Tuesday, July 21st in Canada and Wednesday, July 22nd in the United States. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, July 22nd, suggest that Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, is horrified, while Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, makes a promise. Plus, Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, stalk someone. Learn more about what's going down during Wednesday's show below. Nikki Newman's sad news. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, July 22nd imply that the good news is that Nikki will finally get her bandages off. However, the bad news is that she'll be horrified by her health update. It turns out that Nikki will go to the doctors with Victor by her side. However, she'll still have vision loss issues. This will be a major blow to Nikki, even though she was partly expecting it. Fans were, too. Will the doctor also tell her there's no hope, or will he offer a glimmer of light? Victor Newman's vow. Meanwhile, Victor will make a promise to Nikki. It sounds like the mustache will vow to stay by her side until she can see again. With Victor's cash, he'll move mountains to find specialists who can restore Nikki's vision, so she's in good hands. The only silver lining to Nikki's condition is that it seems to have brought her and Victor closer. Phyllis Summers, the stalker. Lastly, The Young and the Restless spoilers for July 22nd indicate that Phyllis will keep tabs on Matt Clark, Roger Howarth. After Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow interrupted their sizzle session during the Tuesday, July 21st show, Phyllis may beg Matt not to make any rash decisions about leaving Genoa City. Nick was a major buzzkill, and these three are sure to clash during Wednesday's episode as well. Still, how will Phyllis keep an eye on Matt? Will he agree to move into her GCAC hotel room? Or does she hire security? Does Phyllis have that kind of money? Only time will tell. Maybe she just stalks him, the old-fashioned way, by doing it herself. The walls of the Newman Ranch had witnessed countless family battles, heartbreaking betrayals, and miraculous reunions over the decades. But this time the silence hanging over the grand estate felt heavier than ever. Every member of the Newman family sensed that something had shifted, something that could change their lives forever. For Nikki Newman, heartbreak arrived without warning. After weeks of believing that her family was finally finding peace, devastating news shattered her fragile optimism. A trusted ally had secretly betrayed the Newmans, exposing sensitive business information that threatened everything Victor had spent decades building. Worse still, the betrayal came from someone Nikki had welcomed into her inner circle. Standing in the living room, Nikki stared blankly at the evidence spread across the table. Financial documents, confidential emails, and secret recordings painted an ugly picture. "I never imagined this," she whispered, struggling to keep her composure. Victoria reached for her mother's hand, but Nikki barely noticed. Her mind raced through years of memories, wondering how she had missed every warning sign. The pain wasn't simply about business. It was personal. She had believed in loyalty, trusted promises, and defended someone who had quietly manipulated the entire family. As tears formed in her eyes, Nikki admitted something she rarely allowed herself to say. "I failed our family." Victor Newman entered the room just in time to hear those heartbreaking words. Without hesitation, he crossed the room and gently placed his hands on Nikki's shoulders. "You didn't fail anyone," he said firmly. "The person who betrayed us made that choice." His voice carried its usual confidence, but beneath the calm exterior burned unmistakable fury. Victor Newman was not a man who forgave betrayal. As soon as he learned the full truth, he made a promise that stunned everyone gathered in the room. "I will find every person responsible," Victor declared, "and they'll regret ever challenging this family." His words echoed throughout the mansion. Nick exchanged worried glances with Victoria. They both knew exactly what their father meant. Victor wasn't interested in legal settlements or quiet negotiations. He wanted justice, Newman style, that usually meant relentless investigations, carefully planned retaliation, and absolute victory. Meanwhile, far from the Newman estate, another storm was brewing. Phyllis Summers sat alone in her hotel suite, staring at photographs scattered across her desk. Most people believed she had finally moved on from her latest conflict. They were wrong. Her obsession had only grown stronger. She overheard every suspicious phone call. Every business meeting became another piece of a puzzle she desperately wanted to solve. Someone was hiding the truth. Phyllis could feel it. Her instincts had rarely failed her, and she refused to ignore them now. "I'm so close," she muttered. Friends warned her to stop digging. Daniel pleaded with his mother to let professionals handle the investigation. Even Summer begged Phyllis to focus on rebuilding her own life instead of chasing dangerous secrets. But Phyllis wasn't listening. The mystery had become personal. The deeper she investigated, the more convinced she became that multiple powerful figures were working together behind the scenes. Late one evening, she received an anonymous message. "Stop asking questions, or you'll lose everything." Most people would have considered it a threat. Phyllis viewed it as confirmation. Someone was scared. That only fueled her determination. Ignoring every warning, she arranged a secret meeting with an unknown source who claimed to possess proof connecting several influential Genoa City residents to an elaborate conspiracy. She arrived alone. The parking garage was nearly empty. Only the distant hum of fluorescent lights interrupted the silence. Minutes passed. No one appeared. Then she heard footsteps. Slow, steady, purposeful. She turned around just as a shadow emerged from behind a concrete pillar. "You're asking questions you shouldn't be asking," the mysterious figure said. Phyllis refused to back away. "I already know more than you think." The stranger smiled. "That's exactly what worries us." Back at Newman Enterprises, Victor had launched his own investigation. His trusted security team uncovered evidence suggesting that the betrayal against his family extended far beyond a single individual. Corporate espionage, hidden financial transfers, secret alliances. The attack had been planned for months. Victor's expression darkened. "They underestimated me." Nikki watched her husband prepare for another war, but instead of feeling reassured, she became increasingly concerned. She had seen this version of Victor before, determined, calculating, unstoppable. When Victor entered battle mode, collateral damage often followed. She quietly asked him one question. "When this is over, will our family still be together?" Victor paused. For the first time all evening, uncertainty crossed his face. He wanted revenge, but he also wanted to protect the people he loved. Finding both might prove impossible. Elsewhere, Phyllis finally obtained the flash drive her mysterious contact had promised. Heart pounding, she inserted it into her laptop. Dozens of encrypted files appeared. As she opened the first document, her eyes widened. The information connected several recent scandals in ways no one had imagined. Names she trusted appeared repeatedly. So did names she feared. One discovery, however, left her completely speechless. A file labeled simply, Newman. Before she could open it, her computer screen suddenly went black. Every file disappeared. Someone had remotely erased the entire drive. Seconds later, her phone rang. An unfamiliar voice calmly delivered a chilling warning. "This was your last chance to walk away." The call ended. Phyllis sat frozen. For the first time in weeks, even she questioned whether the truth was worth risking everything. Across Genoa City, Victor looked out from his office window, silently contemplating the enemies gathering in the shadows. Nikki stood beside him, hoping love would be enough to hold their family together. Neither of them realized that the greatest threat wasn't the betrayal they already knew about. It was the secret that had yet to be revealed, a secret powerful enough to destroy lifelong friendships, shatter trusted alliances, and force every resident of Genoa City to choose a side. As dawn approached, one thing became clear. Victor was preparing for war. Nikki was fighting to save her family from the emotional cost of that war. And Phyllis, driven by an obsession she could no longer control, had stepped into a dangerous game where every answer came with an even greater risk. In Genoa City, the truth never stays buried forever, but sometimes uncovering it can be the most devastating choice of all.